Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump and today I'll be reviewing Crash Bandicoot 1, which is this part of the box set here, which was released originally back in 1996 for the PlayStation 1, then was part of the N.Sane trilogy, which was released back in 2018 for the PlayStation 4. Now, if you're wondering why I'm holding the N.Sane trilogy box, it's because I got like a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, and I've been playing, mainly Crash 1, and I will be reviewing all of the Crash games as soon as I've got a decent amount into each one. Now I will be playing them one at a time. So for this review, I'm going to be mainly reviewing Crash Bandicoot 1, then next is going to be Crash 2, then Crash 3. So yeah. And then hopefully maybe I will review the entire N.Sane trilogy, maybe once I've beaten every single game in the trilogy. But for this review I'm just going to be mainly focusing on Crash 1. Now the main plot of Crash 1 is that the main character, Crash Bandicoot, escapes from this lab which is made by this guy called Cortex after a failed experiment. It is up to Crash to basically beat all of Cortex's other experiments and also rescue his girlfriend. And I think this is a decent plot. It's a lot of other platformers you might see that was released around the time, Mario rescuing Peach from Bowser, Sonic rescuing some animals from Mega Man, that sort of thing. It's like a simple, easy to understand plot, and it's basically a platformer, and you've got all these platformer things that you can do. And for Crash 1, it's unlike other platformers that I've played, mainly because if you look at something like Mario, with those kinds of games and how the platforms are used in that one, in those series of games, they're quite easy to do. You go from the beginning of the level to the flagpole. But with Crash, all the levels that you see are a lot more difficult, and if you're a newcomer to the game, I would say try and practice a lot. If you're struggling on a particular level, I would just say practice. Try and practice and try and get to a certain part of the level, and then that you've never gone to before, and then try and practice with that, and then try again until you get to the end of the level. Because unlike if you let's say lose a life in Mario in a particular part of the level, then you'll be able to know where you went wrong and how you'll be able to correct that course. With Crash, a lot of the things you have to do is to be really focused and just try and practice, because there are a lot of levels that can really take away some of your lives. For instance, there's one level in I think on the second island that you visit in the game, and it's basically this bridge section, and some of the tiles, part of the block bits on the bridge, some of them fall off once you've touched them, and some of them will just break away easily, and some will just stay intact, because then it'll make the game, the level a little more easier for you to do your platforming. And yeah, that level can hinder you to lose a lot of lives, and just slow the game to a massive, just slow the game a lot, because of how difficult it can be, and how if you're a newcomer, I'll say if you're playing that particular level, practice a lot. And yeah. So, Crash's move that you can do in the game is basically this sort of spin attack thing. So basically, it's kind of like how Sonic does a spin attack, and kind of like how Link does a spin attack, where with Sonic he basically curls up into a ball and basically goes super fast, and with Link he basically just does a spin attack with a sword. With Crash, it's kind of like those two things, but instead of going fast and using a sword, Crash basically breaks boxes. And in the boxes you can get these Wumpa fruits, I think that's what they're called, and basically beat enemies with them. And I think this is a really nice and unique ability to Crash, because this is a sort of interesting ability that you don't really see that often with other well-known characters. And I think it's a really interesting way to bring some personality to this character. And now it's time for some gameplay. So the level designs are quite interesting because you get to do a lot of things in the level, like showing crates, and they're really interesting because you can basically defeat a bunch of monsters, and also you can find these different masks that are scattered throughout the level, and depending on how many you collect, that really depends on how much invincibility you get. So, and if you get 3 of them, you'll be able to have a few seconds, I think 20 seconds or so of invincibility, and that means basically you can get destroy crates, destroy enemies quickly, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting way to do it. And if you want to do a spin attack, if you're playing on the PlayStation 4 version, you press square, and I think if you're playing on the Switch version, I think you have to press Y or something like that. And there are checkpoints in the game, and as you can see, I've collected 3 masks. That means I can basically just destroy a bunch of crates quite easily, and sometimes there are some deviant paths you can take, and as you can see, I can basically destroy a lot of things. Oh yeah, and you will fall off if you're not careful. I suggest as I think I said before, just try and practice on levels that you might be stuck on, just so you can have get used to the controls, get used to all the levels, designs, that sort of thing. And also, if you press triangle on the PlayStation 4 version, you can see how many crates you have, how many lives you have, that sort of thing. So yeah, so as you can see, I've almost got every single crate. I just need to collect this final one, and oh, okay. So you kind of understand where I'm going with this. Just try and destroy every single crate, that sort of thing. And also, there are 2 types of jumps you can do. If you press X on the PlayStation 4 controller once, or just quickly, you do a sort of normal jump, but if you press and hold the X button on the PlayStation 4 controller, it'll do a jump and roll in the air, which I think is quite nice, and I think helps you get extra jumps in particular levels, which I think is interesting and really nice. And so yeah, now I'm going to show you a different level. Now I'm showing you a different level, to show you how quite different each one is. And also, once you've beaten a particular level, you'll be given a time trial, and that basically means try and get to the end of the level as fast as you can. And I think, depending on how good your time is, I think you can get different relics, which is somewhat interesting, I think, because yeah, you have to try get the fastest time, and I think the better your score is, I think the better relic that you get. So I think there's certain times in which you get certain relics. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, this particular level that I'm playing, I think it was a part of what was the game? Uncharted. Yeah, I think Uncharted 4. I think that was the game that, the game this level is featured in. Or this level, or the game that, yeah. I'm thinking right. Yeah, so I think it's really interesting and just really cool, and see how games can be. And I think if I can try and not get hit by the border, I think you can sometimes hit one per food away if you're not careful, or if accidentally do a spin attack. So I wasn't able to get that Wumpa fruit. Okay, so yeah, but okay, so let's say so this. Oh, okay. I thought we could knock it out of the way, but that can happen sometimes. You can accidentally knock away Wumpa fruit. It's like that. Yeah. If you're just doing it by accident. So yeah. So that's been it for the gameplay. Now time to go back to the review. So the graphics in the remastered version of Crash 1, it's if you compare this to the original one, it's a lot better, because in the original Crash Bandicoot, all of the graphics were basically blocky, and standard graphics, 3D graphics when it was released, back when it was released, ahead of its time, and a few games. Well, even there were some games that had 3D, but Crash, it's like a whole different thing. And I think the graphics in the remastered N.Sane Trilogy version, I feel like it's a lot better improved, and it's like more cleaner, more quicker, and I think it's a really cool, interesting thing. And also, I mentioned earlier in this review that that you can hit boxes with your spin attack. Now, depending on which level you're in, there'll be different kinds of boxes that you can hit, and there might be like 39 boxes in one level, but then in a later level there might be 87 boxes, and depending on how many you hit will determine what you get at the end of the level. So let's say you get 31 boxes out of 37, let's say, you'll be hit with 7 boxes, and then you might have to try and find the remaining 7 boxes in the level again if you want to replay and get 100%. But if you hit every single box in a particular level, you'll be received a jewel thing, or a crystal, or whatever. I think it's either a crystal or a jewel, and that's only if you get every single box in a particular level. And a lot of the boxes you might miss, or you might not be able to get because you might have accidentally hit an enemy that might have been walking past a box that was above it, that sort of thing. And also there are bonus levels in which they are basically levels that are filled with a certain amount of boxes. So there might be 9 boxes in one bonus level, let's say 14 in another one, but the only way to collect, or basically to get these boxes in the bonus levels, is by collecting these sort of token things, and they can unlock the bonus levels, and you have to collect 3 tokens in order to access them, and they can vary, and the variety are kind of like either be easy or quite difficult. For example, there's one bonus level in which it's mainly just all crates and boxes and stuff like that, and you have to like jump from one to the next, and then you'll see these Wumpa crates that basically you can see the Wumpa fruit in, and you have to like hit them from the top and bottom ones, and then move on to the next one. But each one has 5 hits, and then as soon as both have been defeated or been destroyed, you have to quickly move on to the next one before you fall down and you have to restart that bonus level, which is a nice thing, I think, because I'm glad that you can replay bonus levels again and again without losing any lives, because I think it's like a nice way to like improve and try and get all the creatures you can. And once you've beaten the bonus level, you'll get the crates and lives and the Wumpa fruits added to your overall counter, because if let's say you're on 1 life and then you get 2 extra lives in the bonus levels, you'll get 3 lives, and let's say you get 94 Wumpa fruits, and you've got 6 Wumpa fruits from the original level, you'll get 100 Wumpa fruits, and then the counter will restart, and you'll get an extra life, which I think is like a nice thing, a nice added bonus. And so overall, I think the game is nice. I think it's an interesting game to play if you're a new player. And if I think old people who've originally played this game, I think a lot of people liked that this was a part of this game, or these series of games will be made. And again, if a bit of advice, if you're a new player, I would say just practice a lot and a lot, just trying to get used to the controls, how Crash moves, how each level works, and how you can try and find every single box within the game and within each level. So yeah, that's been my review for the original Crash Bandicoot game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.